Trudeau's Liberal government is throwing around the idea of a guaranteed basic income as one of its top policy priorities. This is the Great White North Report.
Issues like national unity or conscription or who wants to put the Louis.
Alright, guaranteed basic income tops policy priorities for the Liberal caucus at upcoming convention, calling on government to adopt the idea for consideration in November. Liberal MPs have designated the idea for basic income program as the top resolution, meaning it will go directly to the party's upcoming national convention for debate and a vote. So what is a guaranteed basic income? Basically, they say that every Canadian is entitled to X amount of dollars every month or per year, which means that people are going to get free money and don't have to work a day. And who's going to pay for it? The taxpayers, the people that actually work. Sure, these people who get the basic income, the guaranteed basic income, they'll pay tax on that. It's not their money in the first place, so what does it matter? It depends how much they're going to put in this basic income program. Is it going to be like a cost of living? People are going to be able to live like a basic life? I think it's a bad idea. So Liberal MPs consider it so important that they've designated at their top resolution guaranteeing that will go directly to the November 12th to 15th, 2020 convention for a debate and vote. Liberal MPs are not alone in urging a guaranteed basic income. 50 resolutions include numerous calls from all corners of the country pressing the government to adopt the idea in one form or another. Funny, I don't hear anyone calling for that here in my area. There are also multiple resolutions, including one from the caucus calling the government to develop enforceable national standards for long-term care homes and provide provinces with the funding needed to meet those standards. First of all, the government's giving away free money is not helping people, especially people who are able to work. There are too many people that are taking free money from the government and not working for it, not paying it back, and they're not going to work. If you give a guaranteed basic income to people, they will not want to work. There are those people who just refuse to work, and that means that those who do work will pay more taxes for those who don't. That's not how government should work. He who governs best governs least. That's my view. And the government's got its hands in too many things in Canada. Now, usually when they talk about a guaranteed basic income, that means minimum wage. So what would a person make doing minimum wage over the course of a year? So you're talking about everyone would get about $29,000 per year, guaranteed. Now, how does that work? Is that per household or is that per adult? So in this case, an adult is anyone 18 years or over. So anyone who is 18 years and over could get this guaranteed basic income. How would anyone want to work? Kids would never leave home. How do you decide who gets in and who doesn't? You don't have a job, you get it? Well, if an 18-year-old living with his parents doesn't have a job and he can get that basic income, or do you have to provide proof of rent or proof of home owning or proof of schooling or something like that? Now, I base mine on $14 an hour, which means that employers who are offering $14 to $16 an hour, they're not going to get people to work, because why would you go work for that when you can just stay home and let the government pay for you? Now, they're using the pandemic as their excuse to do this, and they want to overhaul Canada's social safety net. It comes just as the Liberal government is preparing for a throne speech, laying out its plan for protecting Canadians during the pandemic, which is heating up again after a summer lull for reviving the economy. Reviving the economy is by giving a basic guaranteed income is not going to help. All you have to do is go to Indeed.ca and you can see all the jobs that are being offered. People just don't want to work right now. Some are genuinely scared of the CCB virus, while others are just don't want to work. They're getting free money from the government. Why work at McDonald's when you can get free money? So the government hastily introduced the $2,000 per month Canada Emergency Response Benefit to fill the void, and it supported 8.5 million Canadians and proved to be effective and popular. Of course, anytime you get free money, it's popular. Two parents getting $4,000 per month? That was easy. Especially if you had no debt, that'd be great. You're going to have to pay it back on tax time. But if you don't have a job and you're not making any money, then it doesn't matter. So some of these ministers suggest that the CERB can pave the way for a basic income. I'm not for it. I'm in favor of the guaranteed basic income for seniors. Anyone who's worked all their lives in Canada or worked at least 10 years in Canada deserves a guaranteed basic income when they retire. And I know senior benefits aren't that great. They should be raised. That part I agree with. But for everybody, like I said, 18, 19-year-old kids, even if they lived on their own, getting a guaranteed basic income, that's not sending the right message to these kids. That's going to introduce mediocrity in the workforce. No one's going to have the drive to work. Only very few. And like I said, companies will have a harder time getting people for their $14 to $16 an hour jobs. Even $17 an hour companies are having a hard time. There are a lot of those jobs out there, but no one wants to work them. Now, the Chinese Communist Party virus has affected certain areas like hotels, the hospitality industry, restaurants and all that. But other areas it hasn't hurt. Grocery stores are hiring a lot of people, extra people. The school boards have been hiring a lot of people. Healthcare, a lot of people getting hired there. So there's a lot of jobs out there, but people just don't want to work them. Now, extending the Canadian Emergency Response, the CERB, by one more month is a good idea. As long as the pandemic lasts, it's not a bad idea as long as people aren't working. But it's only a stopgap measure. It's not something we should fall back on as the end all be all. And it's not a very good idea. It's better to have more people working and off the government dole, because that costs us. It's better to have everyone working instead of having people sit at home and be lazy. It's just amazing how lazy a lot of Canadians are, because we have foreign workers here working our harvest. There's lots of them in my area. Why? We have lots of people who are sitting at home doing nothing but collecting free money. If we stop that free money and make them get a job, then farmers won't need to hire temporary foreign workers. So I think I think the Liberal government is just trying to pander to the low-income people, or people who don't work, people on welfare and that, vote buying, in other words. That's their strategy, because the Liberals know they need something so they can win the next election. The last election showed that their hold on power was shaky, especially if the other parties get a more charismatic and fiery leader who will do what they say. So I think the Liberals are just targeting mostly the cities, inner cities like Toronto. And they're trying to buy votes ahead of the next election cycle, which could be coming up soon. Yeah, any Canadians out there, let me know what you guys think. Is the guaranteed basic income a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Till next time, this has been the Great White North Report.
Louis, Louis, ça, que j'en choisirais. Vive le Québec libre.